Today we're gonna go look at the best creatures in Magic the Gathering, and I'll start the whole conversation off with something perhaps both the competitive players and the casual players can resonate with. Primeval Titan. It doesn't look like much, just green, 4 generic for a 6/6 trampler. Who cares? But then it's got this ability: when Primeval Titan enters the battlefield or attacks, you may search your library for up to 2 land cards and put them onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle your library. And again, most people will be like, well, so what? That is tutoring into play. I'm actually not sure exactly what on earth people go get in Commander, but I know in the more competitive formats, you know, if you go to Legacy, they go get all those Cloud Post cards. They could, in theory, and then ramp into like an insane amount of mana, more than they had in the first place. Cloud Poke comes into play tapped, add 1 mana to your mana pool for each locus in play. I've seen variations with Primeval Titan. They splash the green because this thing is so ridiculously powerful. RIP to the infinite number of creatures I've board wiped via Supreme Verdict. Yes, for every creature that we have on this list, they've all faced the wrath of the verdict. Most certainly. And Primeval Titan also has seen a lot of play in Modern because it gets things like Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle, which by itself, you know, does absolutely nothing. I mean, if the deck is built with a bunch of mountains, boom, you hit your opponent for like a billion amount of damage. Otherwise, you have Dryad of the Elysian Grove to support all the mountains that you have in play, because while Dryad of the Elysian Grove is in play, lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. So Primeval Titan being one of the best creatures in the game. But what are also the best creatures in the game? Banshee says, I hate Supreme Verdict plus Teferi. The old Teferi tick up past the turn and then verdict you to death. Okay, another one that is actually barely feels like a creature. Golgari Grave Troll. You don't really look at this like it's a creature. Green 4 generic for a 0/0. Golgari Grave Troll enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature card in your graveyard. Okay, and then pay 1, remove a +1/+1 counter from Golgari Grave Troll. Regenerate Golgari Grave Troll. Why on earth would this be one of the best creatures in the game? Because it's got this Dredge 6 at the bottom. Actually, all the text doesn't matter. The 0/0, the casting cost, the troll. I'm learning for the first time that this was a troll skeleton. If I asked, you ask your random friends, what's the creature type to Golgari Grave Troll? And they'll be like, troll? No. Oh, actually, they'd be right. Okay, they need the second half. They need the skeleton part. I didn't know it was a skeleton until right now. What the F were they thinking when that Dredge 6? You know who worked on this set? Guess who worked on the original Ravnica Guilds, City of Guilds set? None other than Richard Garfield. So, you know what? Dredge is exactly as Richard Garfield intended. And I probably back then it wasn't even that big of a deal because there wasn't enough payoffs. It was just like a really nice, convenient way to fill up your graveyard, like if you would use one of those crabs and then mill yourself. But anyway, the Dredge 6 matters because then all of a sudden you're dumping things like Prized Amalgam into the graveyard. You're dumping, I don't know, Bridge from Below. You're putting a lot of stuff into the graveyard. I don't know what the optimal dredge list is these days. You put in, okay, what are they put, what's it called? Conflagrate. This is the least of the worries, but like, they put Conflagrate, Prized Amalgam. They can put, what is it, Grave Crawler. Not always. Well, some of these cards have already been booted out, but that you know, you get the general idea. You fill up your graveyard with stuff that's gonna come back. Narcomoeba. No one knows what Narcomoeba is. Narcomoeba? The blue creature hits the graveyard, then it goes onto the battlefield, and that triggers the Prized Amalgam and all the other creatures that get to come out. So, yeah, Golgari Grave Troll. Alright, but I'd like to hear from the rest of you. What do you guys think are the best creatures in the game? I don't see many things listed. People are blaming Gavin. Gavin was 14 at this time. Yeah, Richard Garfield has a PhD. He knows what he's doing. And truth be told, only one of the dredgers got banned. Just this one. And it's been it's banned in modern, restricted in vintage. You know it's pretty good when the card gets restricted. There we go. Amazing Wally. Hogak. Hogak is an insane card. A black green. It's like a hybrid of Golgari 5 generic, 8/8. And here's the weird thing: you can't spend mana to cast this spell. Maybe they should have designed a card where you had to spend mana to cast the spell. So the only way you can get this in play is through Convoke or Delve. So you can tap your creatures for the Convoke part, for the colored part of the mana cost, and then you can exile cards from your graveyard to pay the 5 generic. You may cast Hogak, Arisen Necropolis from your graveyard. Well, that's just fantastic. And then Trample. So, like, I would love to chump block this thing for days, but you can't because it's this monstrosity of zombies or something. Again, another creature. I don't even know the creature type, too. It's an avatar. C's play in Legacy was so dominant in Modern, warped the format for like 2 months, and then finally got banned. Does anyone make this their commander? Is this even a good commander? It doesn't really do anything except being a big 8/8 dumb creature. And you can keep bringing it back from your graveyard, I guess. So it cheats on the commander tax. You can opt for this thing not to go back to the commander zone. So, yeah, Hogak Arisen Necropolis. In a one-on-one, this is ridiculously stupid. Ooh, here's one. Urza. High Lord Artificer. This actually is one of the best creatures in the game. And it sees play in like every single format. Blue, 2 generic, 1/4. When Urza High Lord Artificer enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. You can tap an untapped artifact to add a blue. So it's Tolarian Academy on a creature. And pay 5, shuffle your library, then exile the top card. Until end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost. That's gotta be really annoying for the commander players. But they probably don't even play with that ability just because they don't want to shuffle their library and then reveal the top card of their library. Or do they just cheat? They're just like, okay, you know what, guys? I didn't search my library or anything. I don't know any cards. Let's just reveal the top card, and that should be good, right? Are we Gucci with that? Let's see. So Laura, okay, so Urza, then one thing that makes this card so powerful are the infinite combos. Like, for example, well, I don't know what infinite combos go off with Urza in Commander. That would help. But the ones that go off in Modern, Sword of the Meek. Sword of the Meek and Thopter Foundry. So normally Thopter Foundry is pay 1, sacrifice a non-token artifact, create a 1/1 blue Thopter artifact creature token with flying, you gain 1 life. And when you're going to sacrifice Sword of the Meek. How convenient. And then whenever a 1/1 creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may return Sword of the Meek from your graveyard to the battlefield and attach it to that creature. So the whole idea is pitch this stupid thing, get a 1/1, get your Sword of the Meek back, and continuously sack your sword. But there's one problem. You have to pay the mana. But then when you have Urza, no longer problem solved. So you basically always tap the Sword of the Meek for free, add the blue, and then use it to sack the Thopter Foundry, and you have infinite creatures. Infinite creatures. Just make sure you kill the Urza player by the next turn. Urza does infinite with a ham sandwich in Commander, so basically anything. If the shuffle library was before the colons, you could top. Oh, you mean oh, I think I know what you mean. No, you have to shuffle first. They're preventing you from topping. No, they don't want you to just randomly put an Emrakul into play. Absolutely not. Casually, yeah, fetch a basic instead of draw makes better games. Alright, so what else do we have here? So an Inkmoth Nexus. Tis land, not creature. Disqualified. Absolutely disqualified. Alright, Lurrus of the Dream Den. I can get behind that one. Now, this got banned in Vintage. Now, the rules for Companion changed were different back then. Along to when the Companions first came out, they had the most dumbest... You didn't have to pay anything to put into your hand. You could put it directly from your sideboard onto the battlefield, and that was that. It was so ridiculous. Now, at least we have this 3-mana tax. So, back then, in Vintage, you could really just go crack Black Lotus, put Lurrus into play, get your Black Lotus back, and you have a free 3-2 for nothing. I don't know why the Vintage players should be so concerned about that 3-2 creature. Well, I guess it's just a Black Lotus every turn. If you don't kill the Lurrus of the Dream Den, well, next turn they get a Black Lotus and another Black Lotus. And then now they go ham sandwich. So Lurrus of the Dream Den was stupid there. I mean, you look at the... You want to see the resume of Lurrus of the Dream Den? This is the resume. Banned in Pioneer, banned in Modern, banned in Legacy, banned in Explorer. It's the cheapest of all the companions, so it essentially turns your hand into an 8-card hand. And if you can get it into play, it's like a 9-card hand, because you get the Lurrus in play and then you get back one of your creatures from the graveyard and you're just like 2 cards up from a very normal opponent. LED with this seems good. I guess so. It's possible. Treachery. This is the card that got snap banned in Commander. Didn't even see play. No one's allowed to play with this Treachery Spell Chaser card, because this would be overwhelmingly, well, it's just free. It's, you know, it's banned in Commander the same reason Lurrus once got banned in Vintage. It's just way too free. The companion restriction is each non-land card in your starting deck has a different name. Oh, that is going to be so hard to pull off in a game of Commander. How's Goldspan Dragon now that it's out of Standard? It's useless. I don't know why people are so excited about this card. I guess, okay, this is considered like a good Commander card, isn't it? In competitive Magic, like for 5 mana, you better be doing something way better than a flying haste creature that's getting you treasure tokens. Because by this point in the game, like, your hand is empty. What are you going to use the treasure tokens for? Like, basically nothing. Okay, we can put this on the list, because I'm sure the Commander players are salivating. Is this a good one? Is this a good one in Commander? Is this a good one in competitive Commander? Probably in just very casual Commander this thing takes over, because who doesn't want more treasure tokens to play the even bigger thing that you have in your hand, or to hit someone with that giant earthquake or something? It's okay. Alright. This isn't even good in Commander, it's just slightly playable. Then why is it $25? Standard's not propping that price up, that's for sure. Okay, we're gonna move on to actual good cards. Arclight Phoenix, that is a bomb. That's a good card. It requires a little bit of a setup, but essentially it's like a free 3-2 creature. So a red 3 generic, flying haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've cast 3 or more instant and sorcery spells this turn, return Arclight Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield. So, and that's the deal. So if it dies, and ideally you're going to put it into the graveyard with a card like Faithless Looting, or any sort of looting effect. If you can get the Phoenix in your graveyard and cast enough spells on the turn, Faithless Looting, draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, play a card like Metamorphose, and basically the game plays itself. Gut shot the person, boom! You've cast 3 cards, and they all come back from the graveyard. So by turn 2, you could be hitting your opponent for 6 damage. And it's a really resilient creature because obviously it needs to... I mean, you have to exile the damn thing. Killing it by itself is not going to work. Protein Hulk. You know, normally I would not count a card like this, but this is actually part of a really important combo. So green 5 generic for a 6/6 creature. When Protein Hulk dies, search your library for any number of creature cards with total converted mana cost 6 or less and put them onto the battlefield. then shuffle your library. Hold on. Any number of creature cards with total converted mana cost 6 or less and put them onto the battlefield. All right, but before we explain the power of the Protein Hulk, we have business to do. You guys love sponsors, right? You love hearing about my sponsors, like FusionGamingOnline.com. This is where I get all my Magic singles and all my Magic product. I need a deck box. I need new sleeves. I go straight to FusionGamingOnline.com. I need some last-minute card for a tournament. FusionGamingOnline.com. Deal of the week this week. Save 15% off all Magic promos. So if you're, interested in Noble Hierarch or the Nykthos Shrine to Nyx, Valakuts, anything from like F&M promos to Judge promos to Rewards promos, they've got it. Deal it and get 15% off all those promos. But if you use coupon code Nikachu, you get an additional 5% off all your purchases in addition to that 15%. And it supports the channel. And we're going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online and your ability to play any deck, any format, anytime you want. You want to play some of these busted cards on this list? There is a format with them still legal. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_B2Q. Alright, now back to Protein Hulk. And you know what I need from you guys? What are the creatures that you go get out of all these things? You have to go get, you have to get 6 mana creatures, right? So this card is broken with Flash, which by itself looks like a nonsense card. Like, nobody would care about this card. Blue 1 generic, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you do, sacrifice it unless you pay its mana cost reduced by up to 2. But you're obviously not going to pay the mana cost. So you flash in Protein Hulk, dies instantly. Search your library for any number of creature cards with total power 6 or less. I don't know what on earth. In Commander, you can fish up Thoracle. So hold on, you're supposed to what? Is this again another demonic consultation or something? Because you're not gonna flash Protein Hulk into play and then Thoracle wins. I mean, you have an entire library in front of you. There we go. Karmic Guide, Carrion Feeder, then get it again, sack, get instant win. There we go. That's the combo. Thank you very much, Chaos Extreme. Karmic Guide. Flying Pro Black. Enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and then you can keep getting the, and then use Carrion Feeder as a sack outlet. And then go get your... I guess you're going to go get the Flash Hulk, and then you can... How do you loop this? Turn target creature card has Echo. Wait, hold on. Flying Pro Black, Karmic Guide enters the battlefield. You get the Flash Hulk. Sacrifice a creature. I don't know how this works. I thought it was a combo with Disciple of the Vault and Moxes and Vintage. That is definitely a way to do it. There are more cards to it. All right, well, thank you for giving me the entire combo. I was more familiar actually with the Disciple of the Vault combo, but I am certain that there's a bunch of different ways of comboing this thing out. Yeah, there are a lot. You can also get Visir Seer, Malira, and Geralf's Messenger for Inference. That one I understand. Thank you so much. Visira Seer. See, that one I can get behind. And Malira. And then we get Geralf's Messenger. Okay, so Messenger, ETB, target opponent loses 2 life. But it comes back with Undying, and then you can't sack it anymore. But then Malira says, creatures you control can't have -1/-1 counters on them. Creatures, hold on, but this doesn't work with Messenger. How do we combo with this Flash Hulk? This is the wrong one. What do we can get, what's something that you can't put any counters on? Vizier of Remedies? Golgari, Protein Hulk, some all-powerful card this is. If one or more -1, no, that doesn't work either. Undying is +1/+1 counters. Whatever. You guys got the idea. We'll infinite somehow. Oh, is it a persist thing? Yeah, well, that is... Yeah, it was a persist thing. Well, at least this Malira combo is a persist thing, where you can, like, sacrifice a persist creature infinite times with Malira. But I don't know any that actually deal damage. Okay, well, we have very... Okay, in the comments section below in the replay, let me know how you are supposed to win with this thing. We all know it's, like, one of the most busted creatures. Thing is, like, most of us don't even have any, like, experience against it because it's banned. Okay, Nikachu, the line I told you wins with Kiki Jiki on the second Hulk sack by using Kiki on Karmic Guide, sack Kiki, bring it back. Alright, that is just fantastic. Okay, you can use Solemnity. Yeah, Solemnity would work with that Geralf's Messenger line. Alright, we got some super chats. That was the most bumbling we ever had for trying to figure out the power level of a card. Norris, Urtai, Resurrected seems pretty good. Urtai. See, that's the thing. When you super chat, you can basically change the course of history. Black Blue, 2 generic for a 3/2 flash creature. Enters the battlefield, choose up to 1. Counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability, its controller draws a card. Destroy another target creature or planeswalker, its controller draws a card. This is one of those new cards, so we have no idea if this is going to be insane or not. I forgot that Urtai existed. The original Urtai is like, it's a reserve list card or something like that. Millmaster! Thank you so much for the super chat. I wanted to become a monk, but I never got the chance. I see what you did there. See what you did there. Thank you so much for the super chat. And Balder. My favorite pet card, Relentless Raptor. Also, what color combo would you consider to be the weakest? In my opinion, Boros. Red-white is so hit or miss. Well, don't tell that to the, what's it called? The Winota Stacks players. They're like, oh, red-white is getting really big. And maybe that's true. Maybe red and white is getting better. But yeah, I completely agree that it is, I think it's the weakest color combination overall in Magic. Arcon of Cruelty mentioned? No, let's go talk Arcon of Cruelty. This has become like the new de facto reanimator card. Just a black 6 generic, but and like I think that's the thing. There is a chance in hell of you actually casting this card. It's happened several times against me. Oh, also thank you very much for the oh, okay, I'll get to that one a little bit later. There's actually a chance of this thing getting cast, but it's usually a reanimator target these days. Flying, whenever Arcon of Cruelty enters the battlefield or attacks, so it's like Uro all over again. Target opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, discards a card, and loses 3 life. You draw a card and you gain 3 life. So it's Uro all over. It's reanimated Uro. If that happened only once, this wouldn't be that big a deal, but usually you can expect it at least twice. So expect to at least lose 2 cards, at least lose 6 life, if not like 6 more, so 12 life, and your opponent will get 2 cards. So this has become an insanely strong card in Magic the Gathering. Boulder, thank you so much for the super chat. Righteous Valkyrie. Righteous. No. Maybe one day this thing it has to prove itself. It's very, very far from proving itself, by the way. Oh, Lucky Roll, thank you so much for the super chat. Swift Spear. I agree. This actually this was like one of the legacy playables in Blue-Red Delver prior to like Dragon Rage Channeler getting printed, prior to Ragavan getting printed. Swift Spear is an incredible all-star amongst all formats, I guess, except Commander. This is the only one, that's the only format this card will just turn into absolute poop. So, Swift Spear for 1 red, haste, 1/2 creature. Why does it have the 2 toughness? That's what makes it hard to block. It's so ridiculously difficult to block. So you block it, they bolt you, they make it bigger. Impossible to deal with. Swift Spear is a good one. It sees Fringe play and Legacy burn. Fringe play? You gonna upset Swiftspear with that. Relentless Raptor. Is this a best card? Vigilance. Attacks or blocks, each combat if able. This is awful. This is awful, Balder. Every every Pro Tour Invitational winner card. Pro Tour you mean every Invitational winner card? You mean like Dark Confidant, stuff like that? Some of those were good, but a lot of them were garbage. I should say it the other way around. A lot of them were great. Some were garbage. Okay, what do we got here? Sure, we can have... Is it Robber of the Rich? I'm not sure. Deathrite Shaman! That one I'm certain of. That's got to be an multi-format all-star. Basically, the best mana dork that had ever lived. Hybrid of black or green, so you don't have to be committed to either of these colors. So insanely easy to splash for a 1/2 creature. So, like, you know, pinging it's not going to kill it. Tap, exile target land from a graveyard at 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Now, I have to admit, you have to be playing in a format where your opponents are putting lands in their graveyards. Otherwise, this card is actually awkwardly terrible. Or you can pay a black, tap, exile target instant or sorcery card from a graveyard. Each opponent loses 2 life, which is... So it's a clock by itself. It's the ultimate pinger. Shoot you for 2 until at every single turn at end of turn. You have multiples of these. They're just machine gunning you down. But the really big point is it's not only on the offense, but it's also cleaning out your graveyard. So if you have any graveyard strategy, like we were talking earlier, Golgari Grave Troll or Arclight Phoenix, Deathrite Shaman will have something to say about it. Because you can pay a green, tap, exile target creature card from a graveyard, you gain 2 life. Dylan with the super chat, thanks so much. Monastery Mentor restricted for being awesome. Does this card see play? Whoops. Is this popular in Commander? This is restricted in Vintage. Because, like, it's like the ultimate, I don't know, young Pyromancer. To be honest, I wouldn't even care. I don't even know why people care that much about this card in Vintage. I would think by now, like, wouldn't be anything special. But it's a white 2 generic prowess. But whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 white monk creature token with prowess. See, like, from my perspective, if you're playing Vintage and you're chaining a bunch of spells together to put enough 1/1s in play, why don't you just storm off? But then again, you could play just like on one turn, get a bunch of monks in play because they all have prowess. That's the thing that it doesn't look that impressive at first. It's not like it's not like getting elemental tokens in play. No, you get other monks that have prowess. And then all of a sudden, you just chain a bunch of spells and these monks are like 7/7s and then you die. And then you die. Ah, yes, thank you very much. Chaos Extreme, Thassa's Oracle, Blight, Seal, Ragavan, and Urza. Okay, well, sure. Thassa's Oracle. A lot of people say this should be banned in Commander. It's already been banned in some formats, like, I guess just Brawl. This is not... It is a combo card in the competitive formats, but it has not been able to be abused quite so strongly. Yeah, look at the top. Enters the battlefield, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is your devotion to blue. You know what? This would be a staple to Merfolk if only if it had 2 power. This one power thing is just not going to do it. But if it was a 2/3 creature that still did this, I'd play this in all my Merfolk decks. It's too bad, but it is the quintessential combo card these days. Laboratory Maniac, step aside. You're too many steps to win. Thassa's Oracle. Now what else you had on this list? Blight, Steel, Colossus. Well, this is like a win more card. I don't know if this is one of the best creatures in the game. I guess technically it is. If anyone would like to have one creature to start the game off with, if you're allowed to have one creature in play by turn 1, what would it be? Probably Blight, Steel, Colossus. And it's indestructible, so it's not like... Or I guess there's going to be another... And then in that meta, someone would like... Let's say you could play with any one creature to start the game off. The default meta might be Blightsteel Colossus, but then there would be like another... Then someone would think, well, they're going to get Blightsteel Colossus, so I should play a creature that's going to exile artifacts or just... exile artifacts at the beginning of the game. That'd be neat. Ragavan. Also mentioned by Chaos Extreme. Nimble Pilfer. That's it's already giving itself a reputation for every format. Looks good for even for Commander too, because you get a treasure token. Somebody's always open. So and then you get to play the cards off the top of their library. In one-on-one matches, this thing is ridiculous. It does snowball out of control and has protection from sorceries because you can dash it in play with a red and 1 generic. So that is a huge one. And we went with her. We did hers earlier. Cerise, thank you so much for your super chat. Matagorda, Mana Gorge Hydra, great with mono green. Mana Gorge Hydra. This is a new, no, it's not a new one. It's just a very bad photo. Green 2 generic, 1/1 with trample. Whenever a player casts a spell, put a +1/+1 on Mana Gorge or Hydra. This is probably an all-star in casual commander. So you just put this thing on the battlefield and just watch your opponents keep growing your Mana Gorge or Hydra. Everyone's mentioning like Spellskite as like the best, one of the best creatures in the game. I think it's not one of the best creatures in the game. It's like certainly a good utility creature. It's not like someone played Spellskite for the win. Busted with Inverter. Oh yes, Thassa's Oracle. Yeah, Thassa's Oracle. I mean, there's a lot of combos with Thassa's Oracle. Demonic Consultation. Inverter of Truth. I'm surprised no one's tried to push this in Modern. Like, if it's good enough, if it was good enough to get banned in Pioneer, probably there's something there in Modern, probably. And 6/6 creature is not nothing. That's still something, even in Modern. Gilded Drake. Gilded. I know it's gilded. Why can I not find this thing? Am I not spelling this correctly? Are we both spelling this thing horribly wrong? Guild. No, hold on. It's, what is this stupid card called? Everyone's mentioning Questing Beast. Is it really? Okay, well, we'll put out, you guys are the show, so I don't know how to spell Gilded Drake though. For the love of the page. It looks like I'm spelling it right, but I'm not. Gilded. There we go. Thank you so much. Thanks, MTG Gaming Bob. You saved us. Of course you know how to spell Gilded Drake. You probably own 20 of them. Blue 1 generic 3/3 flying. Gilded Drake enters the battlefield. Exchange control of Gilded Drake for target creature. One of your opponent's controls, or sacrifice Gilded Drake. Of course we're gonna do the switcheroo. Master of Waves. Probably not. I like this card a lot, but definitely not one of the best creatures in the game. But thank you very much for the super chat. And Frank just giving me money for nothing. I'm sure there was a comment here. You're supposed to write the comment with the super chat. I can't find it. Sorry about that for one, Frank. Golos? Sure, we can put Golos. This actually was very good in multiple formats. Actually sees play, I think it sees play almost anywhere. Maybe the Legacy it doesn't see play? 5 mana for a 3/5 legendary artifact creature. But when it enters the battlefield, you can search your library for a land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. You know what this reminds me of? What does this card remind me of? Now that I think of it, now that I'm staring at this thing dead in the eye, it reminds me of Primeval Titan, which we discussed earlier. But thank you very much, Drake. Thanks for the super chat. It's just mini Primeval Titan, but with this gigantic activated ability. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. You can play them this turn without paying their mana costs. Have we done Yawgmoth? No. Damn, there's a lot of Yawgmoth cards. This guy's busted. Black, 2 generic for a 2/4 pro-humans. Just funny. He's a human himself. Pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature, and draw a card. So you can wipe out the whole board and draw cards out of it. You do have to, however, you have to pay the 1 life. So, but if you have any life gain, then this thing doesn't even matter. Grizzle Brand. There's a lot of black cards on this list. Grizzle Brand. The dark side. The power of the dark side. Typical combo card. Black, 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 black. 4 generic for a 7/7 flying lifelink. Pay 7 life, draw 7 cards. Essentially, if this thing is in play, they're going to draw their deck. Although, it's funny, some people can still whiff off this thing. Gotta mention Snapcaster. But like, does Snapcaster Mage see play in Legacy? I know that's probably sound like a broken record, because there's some cards that are great in, you know, the competitive Magic formats that I cannot be like it's good, sure. You could play this in Legacy, but then maybe there's something better you can do in Legacy. Maybe there's something better. But what's better than flashing back Treasure Cruise? That's got to be wonderful. ETB, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. Oh, sorry, did I say Legacy? I meant Commander. I meant Commander. Of course this thing would see play in Legacy. Displacer Kitten. Oh my god. This is the new, this is a commander card. The Cat Beast, a 2/2. With Avoidance, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Isn't this just asking to get abused by combos? Just joined. Did we discuss Stormcrow yet? No, I've ignored everyone who said Stormcrow, except you. Oh, Balder with this Death Shadow. That's an insane card. Thank you so much for the super chat. This is a multi-format all-star. This is a card that will not see playing Commander. Black, 13 through 13, but it gets -X where X is your life total. But get that life total low enough, and this becomes just basically a 1 mana. This can be a 1 mana 12/12. Just go straight to 1. That's all. That's the key. Go straight to 1. Chaos Extreme again with the super chat. Thank you so much. Thalia, Garden of Thraven, Dual Caster Mage. Okay, we gotta have a rule. You can only mention one at a time. Thalia, Garden of Thraven. But you have good ones. Thalia, Guardian of Thraven. White, 1 generic, 2/1, first strike, non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. I should say, like, this card traditionally has been very strong, but has gotten weaker over the years because, you know, the game has just gotten more mana efficient. So as you can put this card in a format that's more clunky, this card just gets a lot better. Yes, Kitten was an Art of Legacy combo day 1 of release. Really? I didn't really expect that one to be, like, taken over Legacy. I'm sure some people are trying to make combos, though. Dual Caster Mage. Oh, yeah. This is that, no, dual. This is like that Snapcaster Mage, but for something else. Red, 1 generic, 2/2 flash. Enters the battlefield. Copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Oh, yeah, so it's I shouldn't say it's really Snapcaster Mage, but you are doubling instants and sorcery spells. Or you can copy your opponent's spells. You can do whatever you want with them. What about Gary? Gray Merchant. We're gonna have a series where we're gonna talk about the best pauper cards. Black, 3 generic for a 2/4 creature. When Gray Merchant of Asphodel enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. Very good card in Pauper. Oh, thank you very much for the super chat. Zybers. Yes, any Zybers are good. Is Agent of Treachery good? Why is this good? Is it any good in Commander? I actually think this is a garbage card. It was banned in Historic for no reason. It was banned in Historic for absolutely no reason. I think it's just a bit too expensive. Too expensive for what it does. Thought-Knots is a great one. For the low cost of 4 mana, if you get a 4/4 creature, enters the battlefield, your opponent reveals their hand, and you choose an online card from it and exile it. It's gone. And then if it leaves the battle, and if Thought-Knot Seer leaves the battlefield, your opponent gets a card. Was Uro mentioned? Not yet. Uro. Titan of Nature's Wrath. Yeah, this is a disgusting card. It also has a resume. You know the card is good when it gets banned in all the formats. Pioneer, Modern, Explorer, Historic. It's all gone. Blue, green, 1 generic for a... Whatever. It's 6. It's basically not a 6/6 at first. Because when it enters the battlefield, you have to sacrifice it unless it escaped. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, though, you gain 3 life and draw a card. And you can put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. And then you can escape it for blue, blue, green, green. Which should be easy because you've been drawing so many cards and putting so many lands on the battlefield that it doesn't even matter. No problem. Have we done Geist of St. Traft? No, we have not. A little bit more fringe these days. I think this is still a very good card that people have forgotten about. Blue, white, 1 generic for a 2/2 with hexproof. And whenever Geist of St. Traft attacks, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying that's tapped and attacking. Exile that token at end of combat. I think people have forgotten about this card. It now makes me think we could maybe make a Bogle's deck out of this. Just a blue-green. Like, you can still play Slippery Bogle. You can play, like, what's it called? That unblockable hexproof guy. And you can play Geist of St. Traft. And you get Ethereal Armor. You get Ethereal Armor. You get Curiosity. You get Daybreak Coronet. Oh my god, the deck is building itself. Why hasn't no one tried this before? Blue-white Bogles. I think that is definitely a possibility. Dualcaster Mage, copy the Shimmer. What is it? Dualcaster Mage, copy Heat Shimmer and Twin Flame targeting itself. Repeat. Oh god, that's a disgusting combo. So Dualcaster Mage is a combo card. Squirrel token is greater than Geist of St. Traft. Well, two squirrel tokens. You need 2 of them in play. Dylan, thank you much for a super chat. Scourge Familiar, sole effect of its kind. I've never heard of this card. Flying, discard a card, add a black. Really? There's no other card in the game that does that? Discard a card to add black mana? And they were playing it really safe with this card. They've made sure it was 5 mana. Siege Rhino. I honestly wouldn't put it on this list, but I guess enough of you love Siege Rhino that we'll put it up here. It's I mean, okay, in a clunky format, this card is an all-star. It's an all-star in a clunky format if it's really slow. Then you have a 4/5 Trampler. Enters the battlefield, you lose 3 life. And, I mean, each opponent loses 3 life. All of them. And you gain 3 life, so it's a good one. Oh, true name! Of course! We have to get the true name in there. Now this is another question. Is this was built for Commander. Is this good in Commander? You have 3 opponents, so 2 of them are not going to give a crap about a 3/1 creature for 3 mana. As True Name enters the battlefield, choose a player. Make sure that it's not you. True Name Nemesis has protection from the chosen player. Very, very good card. Good card in every other format other than Commander. Yeah, Invisible Stalker. That was the card I was thinking about earlier. For anyone that wants to know. This is a unique creature, actually. This is the only creature, I think, that cannot be blocked and has hexproof. So if you have some plan to put a bunch of, I don't know, auras or buff it up a billion, this is your card. No one can touch this card. You gotta make the opponent sacrifice creatures. Yeah, Lord of Atlantis! As much as I like Lord of Atlantis, I don't think it is the best creature. Ghost Council of Orzova? Thank you so much, Balder. Ghost Council of you're correct. Such a creature exists. Black, black, white, white, 4/4. Whenever the battlefield, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Well, that's not a lot. Sack a creature, exile Ghost Council of Orzova, returns to the battlefield. Oh, it's just a spirit, and you're a spirit person. Yeah, I get it. Okay, Esper Sentinel. You know what? This is Ristic Study on a creature. I have to admit, this is Ristic Study on a creature. I actually cannot avoid giving my opponent cards in Modern. It's impossible. 1 white for a 1/1. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, draw a card unless that player pays X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. And you can almost be assured you're going to play a non-creature spell, and you're not going to be able to pay whatever it is. Even if it's 1, I can't pay it. I've given Hammer Time players so many cards, I've basically refilled their hand so many times. Ooh, I like this one. This is a classic Flame Tongue Taboo. Too bad there's no, whoops, no, not. They tried to bring it back. Yeah, I forgot. They tried to bring Flame Tongue Taboo back, right? Okay, well, let's look at the original one. Flame Tongue Taboo, red 3 generic 4/2, enters the battlefield, deal 4 damage to target creature. Was very good back in the day. Flame Tongue Yearling, red 2/1, multi-kicker of 2. When Flame Tongue Yearling enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each time it was kicked. Flame Tongue Yearling enters the battlefield. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature. So it can only deal 3 damage with the multi-kicker. Now this is just like all-stars over history. Thragtusk. Actually, Thragtusk still sees play. Still sees a good chunk of play. And it's a nice card. It's easy to cast. It's not too hard at 5 mana. You get a 5/3 creature. Enters the battlefield. You gain 5 life. It always feels good. Oh yes, give me the life. I needed this life so badly. And then if it leaves the battlefield for any reason, you blink it. It dies. Doesn't matter what the excuse is. World Fire, anyone? Thragtusk into World Fire. Exile all permanents, exile all cards from graveyards. Each player's life total becomes 1. I think I've discovered a combo. It doesn't exactly win on the spot, but it probably will. And then your Thragtusk leaves, and you get a 3/3 beast creature token. And then you're just looking at your opponents, licking your chops. You're at 1 life. You're gonna die. Anyway, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. What is this one? Visordrix. Is this that rabbit? Oh, it's that rabbit. You people trolling me. Absolutely trolling me. Birds of Paradise, hands down. Ah, yes, the best mana dork before. I mean, it's still a good mana dork, truth be told. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. 0/1 creature. No conditions apply. Let's go old school Morphling. Okay. I'm gonna say no. I think we'll have a show where like the best creatures that have turned useless or something like that. Would you be interested in something like that? I think Morphling would be definitely on that list. Or best creature. I get the best creatures at the time. That would be a great video. Dockside Extortionist, absolutely. I have stumbled my way into the Spanish or one of those. Which one was this? Portuguese. Alright, Dockside Extortionist. Red 1 generic 1/2. Enters the battlefield, create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control. If you didn't have so many artifacts, though, if there wasn't so many soul rings and busted mana in Commander, this card wouldn't be so good. It's only good because you want to play with all that power. Delver of Secrets. Running out of card sound effects for you guys. Delver of Deceits? No, it's Delver of Secrets. Truth be told, this is still a pretty good card, although this was historically one of the best creatures, but now it's being completely outclassed to the point where Delver is always the worst creature in every Delver deck. But it's still there! It still sees play. Let's not forget about Delver of Secrets. It's still kicking. Carlos with the super chat. Thank you so much. Nikachu, when are we going to talk about Commander hot takes? Keep them high and tight. We'll do it tomorrow. How about that? We'll do it. Hot takes in Commander tomorrow. Thank you for reminding me, Carlos. Great idea. Yeah, and everyone can just let it out. Just get it out of your system. It's gonna be a really really hot debated topic. Everyone's gonna, because everyone has different interests in Commander. Progenitor Mimic. I think, I can't remember, is this like a super powerful card in Commander? Blue, green, 4 generic. You may have Mimic enters the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it has at the beginning of your upkeep, if this creature isn't a token, create a token that's a copy of this creature. And I guess if you, can this combo with some like gain extra turn cards? Is there maybe a creature that you gain an extra turn when it enters the battlefield? Baleful Strix. I'm just relaying stuff from chat. Oh yeah, thank you so much. And truth be told, it's a great card. Great card. Blue-black, 1/1, Flying Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. The super chat signal. And with that, Ice Fang Quaddle. Blue-green, 1/1, Flash Flying. But when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. But it only has Death Touch so long as you control 3 other snow permanents. It's the only way. Risen Reef. This is an insane card. There's a lot of combos around this card. Blue, green, 1 generic for a 1/1. Honestly, this is a card you have to see in action. If you don't, you read this card, you just think this is just janky nonsense. Whenever Risen Reef or another elemental enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped. If you don't, put the card onto the battlefield, put it into your hand. So it's insane ramp, card advantage, and you realize you have to kill this thing. By the time you realize you have to kill this thing, it's too late. They've already gotten like a lot of really good value. So it's very, very, very good card. Risen Reef really is that BS. Absolutely. Riz the Redeemed. What is this? Hybrid green, a hybrid of Selesnya for a 1/1 elf warrior. 2 and a hybrid tap. Create a 1/1 green and white elf warrior creature token, or you can pay the larger ability. For each creature token you control, create a token that's a copy of that creature. I can't tell if this is good or not. It's like really cheap to cast, but the activated abilities are insane. But it does remind me of what is the elf that makes everything uncounterable and it can turn everything into dinosaurs. That card is insane. Okay, while we wait for that, Winota is one of the best creatures ever. Yeah, this, whenever a non-human, it's a bit janky in some other formats, but it's still a really powerful card. White, red, 2 generic, 4/4. Whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a human creature card from among them onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. It gains indestructible until end of turn. That part, that's BS. That's BS. I mean, there's actually a lot of BS on this card, but the indestructible thing is really dumb. Put the rest of your cards on the bottom of your library in any order. They tried to make it Commander playable, and they succeeded. Allosaurus Shepherd, that's what I was thinking of. And now we're gonna go down, like, we're actually gonna go down a rabbit hole of, like, elf playables. Green, 1/1. Spell can't be okay, this is what they give green when they give them a 1-drop. Cannot be countered. Green spells you control can't be countered either. And also, for green, 4 generic, until end of turn, each elf creature you control has base power and toughness 5/5 and becomes a dinosaur. Only for green, and white, and black, and red. But blue? Oh, no, what? Oh, whoa. We gotta be careful when we give blue a 1-drop. We have to be very careful. Because remember what happened with Delver of Secrets? We can't let Delver of Secrets ever happen again. Craterhoof Behemoth, exactly. Yeah, this is a pretty typical combo card. If you have enough creatures onto the battlefield, Craterhoof, you're dead. It's good in Commander and also good in the competitive formats. Omnath! Does anyone build their Commander around this thing? Looks like it should be still a pretty good commander. You get this thing out for pretty cheap. You have access to like all the really good colors, and you have access to an insane amount of mana so long as you play with a bunch of fetch lands. I'm surprised this card isn't... This actually looks like an insane commander card. You draw a card when it enters the battlefield, so every single time you have to replay it, you get something. Interesting. I guess there are just better commanders out there. I never heard anyone talk about Omnath. But in one-on-one, this is pretty disgusting. Replaces itself as a pretty chunky creature on its own. When a land enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life, so you easily stabilize against any deck that was aggressive. And then if you put another land onto the battlefield at the same time, which is easy with fetch lands, you get 4 extra mana to play whatever the hell you want. And then somehow if you can get a third land in play, it can deal 4 damage to your opponents. Omnath is a really good commander, I would imagine. Turgrid, God of Fight. Was there a super chat I missed? I did! Grubby! I'd want to miss your super chats. Thank you so much. Colossus Dreadmaw. Sometimes, with the chat going so crazy. Are you trolling me? Are you trolled? I didn't even realize it until yeah, whatever. It's a fan favorite, I guess. It's a bomb in Limited. Okay, we can say that. This is one of the best creatures in Limited. Apparently you could draft all of these and make a giant, powerful Limited deck out of this damn thing. Just draft all those comments. Oh, Kiki Jiki. This lets me know that probably we should have a video, or we should have a discussion of all the best combo cards. You want to make a combo? This is a combo player's starter kit by Kiki Jiki. Iona! Oh, how do we miss this one? Iona, where are you? There you are. Shield of Emeria. Shield from one color. Flying, as Iona, Shield of Emeria enters the battlefield, choose a color. Your opponents can't cast spells of the chosen color. And she's a beefy 7/7. Nothing wrong with that. Dylan says, Arcon of Emeria, personal favorite. That is a good one. Actually, this is a good card. I don't know if this is like the best card, but for a white and 2 generic, you have a 2/3. Each player can't cast more than one spell each turn. Non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. This is a multi-format all-star for sure. Okay, hold on. This reminded me though of Emrakul. How do we not talk about Emrakul? Big Mama. Big Mama Emrakul. 15 mana. As if you're going to pay that. I mean, some of you might. 15/15 flyer. Can't be countered. This is the card with a bunch of abilities on it. Can't be countered. But for 15 mana, you expected it. Whenever you cast a spell, take an extra turn after this one. So it's like, it's got Time Warp attached to it. Flying, protection from spells that are one or more colors. Got Annihilator 6, so when you attack, that particular opponent has to sacrifice 6 permanents. And whenever Emrakul is put into a graveyard from anywhere, its owner shuffles their graveyard into their library. It should add that replacement effect because the way that they worded it. Well, I guess the way that they worded it, that allowed Emrakul to actually have some play in graveyard decks. Because you could ninja get this thing in play. I have paid 15 mana for an Emrakul without using Soul Lands before. Oh, well, me too, but it was in a pre-release of Emrakul. Because everyone got Emrakul as like a pre-release card, and I think we're all allowed to play it. I think we're all allowed to play it. Chatterfang. I don't think this is one of the best cards in the game. Along with Archon Draneth Magistrate? Isn't this like one of those anti-cards? Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. Very good lock card. Or like, keeps things in balance. Best meme or troll card. Oh, best meme / troll cards show when? I don't know, maybe we'll do that on Monday. Okay, one more. Sundering Titan. That's a good one. This is banned in Commander? Are you kidding me? Commander players just are so sensitive about getting their lands blown up. When Sundering Titan enters the battlefield or leaves the battlefield, choose a land of each basic land type, then destroy those lands. Boom. It's a decent card in competitive formats too. It's pretty good. It is pretty good. We probably missed a ton of great cards. You know, we only have 1 hour. If you want, let us all know the cards that we missed in the comments section below. But that is it for Coffee and MTG. Thank you so much for sharing this day with me today. We do this Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Thank you so much for all the love, all the super chats. I really loved it. Lets me know that this is worth it for all of you and for me. And we got to keep doing we have to keep doing this every day, people. We got to keep doing it for the coffee crew. And thank you for showing up every morning. Because without you guys, I'd have no show. I would have listed off like 5 cards and that was it. I'm just a reminder that the show is really all in chat. So keep brewing up those coffees, everyone. And we will keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you